Hey dreamers, welcome back to your Dream Coach podcast. I'm your host, Shayla Wey. I'm a business and leadership coach and someone who truly believes that building a business should help you build the life you love, not take over the one you already have. And what if the version of success that you've been chasing is actually costing you more than it's giving you? Well, here's what I found. There are a lot of people out there who look successful on paper. They're making money, they're hitting goals, they're growing their business, but behind the scenes, they're exhausted, they're overwhelmed, and they're questioning if this is even what they want anymore. And I think of this as one of the most important conversations we can have as business owners, because growth should not come at the expense of your life. It should enhance it. And so today I'm talking about how to grow your revenue in a way that actually feels good, in a way that supports your energy, your relationships, your time, and ultimately your dream life. And everything I'm sharing is from the lens of what I have found through my own journey, through coaching hundreds of clients, and through building businesses that are meant to last. So let's jump in. Well, growth doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters most. And so what I've seen is that most people are not underperforming. They're overextended. They're doing too many things at once, which means nothing is getting the level of focus it actually needs to succeed. So you may be on multiple platforms, testing different offers, trying new ads, building out funnels, trying out, growing your email list, and wondering why nothing is really taking off. And it's not because you're not capable. It's often because your attention is diluted. And every decision you make throughout the day requires energy. And when you spread that energy across too many priorities, your impact weakens. And so when I simplified my own business, when I focused on one clear offer, one clear message, and one clear pathway, everything started to grow faster, not slower, faster. Because clarity compounds. And this is where something like essentialism becomes so powerful. It teaches you that saying no isn't a limitation. It's a growth strategy. So instead of asking, what else should I add to grow? Start asking, what is the one thing that if I did it really well would move everything forward? And that's a leadership decision. Now, the second thing is that revenue grows when you build systems, not when you rely on hustle. And so what I've seen is that hustle creates spikes, but systems create stability. And this is where a lot of business owners get stuck. They have good months and they have slow months. They feel motivated one week and burned out the next. And it's because their business is built on effort, not structure. And so when your revenue depends how on you feel that day, you're always going to feel pressure. But when you build systems, even simple ones, you remove that pressure. So for example, instead of wondering, maybe what to post on your social media every day, you have a content rhythm. Instead of hoping people reach out to your business, you have a clear call to action pathway. Instead of winging sales calls, you have a structured conversation flow. And then suddenly things feel lighter, not because you're doing less, but because you're doing it with intention. Now, this is where something like atomic habits comes in. Small, repeatable actions compound into massive results. You don't need a complicated system. You need a consistent one. Now, the third thing is that your energy is your greatest revenue driver. So what I found is that strategy matters, but energy multiplies it. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you're showing up drained, overwhelmed, and disconnected, it's going to show. And people feel that in your content, in your sales conversations, in the way that you lead. And I've had seasons where I tried to push through that, where I thought I just need to work harder. But working harder from an empty place doesn't create better results. It just creates faster burnout. And so when I started prioritizing my energy, my sleep, my schedule, my boundaries, everything improved. My clarity improved, my confidence improved, my decision-making improved, and ultimately my revenue improved. Now, a great perspective shift here comes from the energy bus. Your energy isn't just personal, it's contagious. So the question becomes, are you leading your business from a place of depletion or a place of alignment? Because that choice impacts everything. Now, the fourth thing is that not all revenue is equal. And this one changed everything for me because I used to think revenue is just revenue. But what I've seen is that money comes with a cost that's too high. Some money, I guess, comes with a cost that's too high. Clients that drain you, maybe projects that don't align, opportunities that look good but don't feel good. And so when you say yes to those, you start building a business that feels heavy. And then burnout isn't surprising, it's inevitable. And so when I started filtering out opportunities through alignment, not just income, my business became more enjoyable and more profitable because aligned clients stay longer. They get better results, they refer more people. And this is where something like the 4-hour work week challenges you to rethink what success actually looks like. You often don't need more, you need better clients, better offers, and better alignment. Now, the fifth thing is that leadership means setting the standard, not just working harder. And so what I found is that burnout often shows up when you're trying to do everything yourself. And it can feel easier in the moment. I'll just do it. It's faster if I handle it. No one else will do it the way I want. But over time, that becomes unsustainable because now your business depends entirely on you. And growth becomes limited by your capacity. And leadership is what breaks that cycle. Leadership is deciding what should I be doing and what shouldn't I? Where do I need support? Where can I empower someone else? And this isn't just about hiring a team. It's about stepping into the role of a CEO because CEOs don't do everything. They decide what matters most. Now, a great resource here is Leaders Eat Last, which reinforces that leadership is about creating environments where others can succeed. And when you do that, you grow without carrying everything. Now, the sixth thing is that you can't outperform your mindset. So what I found is that burnout is often a mindset issue disguised as a workload issue because the pressure we feel usually comes from what we believe. Beliefs like I have to prove myself, I can't slow down, if I don't do it, it won't get done. And those beliefs drive behaviors that lead to overworking, overcommitting, and overextending. So even if you fix your strategy, if you don't address your mindset, the pattern continues. And this is why I always come back to identity work, because when you shift your beliefs, your behaviors follow. Now, a powerful resource here is the Big Leap, especially around upper limits. Sometimes we don't burn out because we're doing too much. We burn out because we don't believe we can have the success with ease. Now, the seventh segment here is that growth requires seasons, not constant acceleration. And so what I've seen is one of the biggest lies in entrepreneurship is that you always need to be pushing, always growing, always scaling, always doing more. But real growth doesn't work like that. It happens in cycles. There are seasons where you push, you build, you expand, you create momentum. And there are seasons where you integrate, you refine, you learn, you rest. And both are necessary. But when you ignore the second, burnout catches up. So something that really supported me here is the concept in deep work, focused effort followed by intentional recovery. And that's how you sustain high performance, not by staying on all the time, but by knowing when to step back. Now, simplicity scales faster than complex. And this is the eighth segment, because I've seen here that complexity feels productive, but it's usually just distracting. So that could look like more funnels or offers or strategies, and suddenly your business feels very overwhelming. And when things feel overwhelming, you slow down or you avoid or you second guess everything. But when your business is simple, you move faster, clear offer, clear message, clear next step, and that's it. And that simplicity creates confidence for you and your clients. Now, the ninth thing here is fulfillment isn't a reward, it's a requirement. And so a lot of people are building businesses that they think they'll enjoy later. I'll feel better when I hit this goal. I'll slow down when I make more money. But later never comes if you don't build for it now. And fulfillment isn't something you add at the end. It's something you design into your business from the beginning, through your schedule, through your boundaries, through the way you work. Because if your business doesn't feel good while you're building it, it won't magically feel good when you grow it. Now, the 10th segment here is that sustainable growth is the real win. And so I've seen here that growth is exciting, but sustainable growth is powerful because fast growth can disappear, but sustainable growth compounds. It builds stability, it builds confidence, it builds a business that actually supports your life. And that's the goal, not just to grow, but to grow in a way that lasts. And so if this episode resonated with you and you're ready to start building a business that actually supports your life, I want to invite you to join the LFG Business Academy on Skool. It's completely free. Inside, you'll get access to tools, frameworks, and a community of business owners who are focused on leadership, fulfillment, and growth. And I also have a free mini leadership series inside that will help you start stepping into the CEO version of yourself, because you don't need to work more, you need to lead better. So thank you for being here, for listening, and for choosing to build your business differently, because your dream life starts with the way that you lead, the way that you live, and the way that you grow. I'll see you on the next episode.